Happiest of Fridays to everybody. Thank you all so much for being here. It's nice to see a couple faces up on those screens and a couple new faces. So thank you all for being here, new friends, old friends alike. We've got 45 minutes of flow style Pilates class. I want you to grab a cushion if you think you might need one of those for when we're on hands and knees, just for a little extra padding for those kneecaps. Make sure to move at a pace that makes sense for your body. We're all a little different. We're all going through different journeys of our own right now. Respect your body and let's go ahead and get ourselves moving. It's time to move and time for me to stop talking so much. All right, make your way up to that mat. I'll meet you there. If you do have a cushion, take it and place it off to the side of your mat where we can grab it easily in a little while. I'll let you know when you might want to use it. But we're going to step back to the point of our mat that's farthest away from our screens right now. And let's line up our heels with our shoulders. Once we've done that, we can turn our toes just a little bit out to the sides. We're going to rotate out from our hips, knees, hips, and middle of the foot are all pointing in the same direction with the toes coming out slightly toward the front bottom corners of the room on the wall closest to your front. We're going to soften up our knees, bend them just a little bit, settle your weight down into the feet. We're going to try to get our weight centered over our heels. Once we've done that, slide your fingertips down toward the outer knee joint lines. We'll feel those underarm muscles engaging just a little bit as we drop our shoulders down. And if you feel safe doing so from here, close your eyes. As you do so, pay attention to what's going on in your feet. You might notice a little bit of sway getting introduced into the mix. We might notice that one foot is doing a little more work than the other, that we're biased to bear weight on one side versus the other. We might notice that we're rocking a little bit forward or backward, a little bit toward one foot or the other. We'll feel different parts of our legs and our thighs engage accordingly. Just sit here for a moment, take a breath, and kind of take stock of where your weight tends to want to be centered. And then we're going to open up our eyes. Hold it here and scrunch your toes back toward your heels. Let those arches lift up slightly off the floor. Then we spread our toes away from each other, drop them down to the mat. We're going to repeat that a couple more times, warming up those muscles in our feet that help us balance. We'll do one more scrunch. We'll spread our toes away from each other. And now we plant our big toe, our pinky toe, and our heel firmly into the floor. Let's look up to the ceiling and down toward our breastbone, keeping the rest of the body nice and still as we move. Looking up and looking down. Let's look straight ahead toward our screen and then turn. We're going to look over one shoulder and over the other, and we'll repeat that one more time. Just test that range of motion out. Maybe we see the wall behind us, maybe we don't. Looking forward now, we tip our head to one side and then to the other, and we're moving ear to shoulder now. One side to the other, and let's bring that head up nice and tall. Slide those shoulder blades up and down. Picturing the blades moving on a nice stable back of the rib cage. Inhale and shrug, and exhale, drop the blades down. And now we roll our shoulders in circles, taking them up to the ears, back and toward each other with a nice squeeze. And then we bring them down toward our waistline. Roll them out again. We'll do one more circle here. Work out those crunchies that sometimes make their way into the mix as we roll. And then we take a big breath in. And on that exhale, we draw our belly and our spine toward each other, tightening that seatbelt of muscles that run from the lower ribs all the way down to the top of the pubic bone in front, the top of the crest of the pelvis on the sides and in the back. Holding those muscles engaged, let's bring our arms out to shoulder level. Big breath in. Exhale them down by the body again. Inhale them through the center and all the way up and overhead. As we reach our fingertips up, the palms will face each other, and we're going to let those blades slide again down the back side of the body. We have that nice length from our earlobe down to the shoulder on both sides here, and we're going to keep that midsection active as we sway our upper body from side to side. Press through your heel to pop that trunk up tall, and we repeat with a stretch to the other side. Let's move side to side at a speed that makes sense for you, imagining that our upper bodies are like the limbs of a tree swaying in the breeze on its nice steady trunk. Inhale everything up overhead, and breathing out, we'll open our arms to shoulder height. The palms face our screen, and we're going to bring our hands in front of us just slightly enough that we can wiggle our thumbs and see them moving in our peripheral vision. From here, Let's step our feet a touch wider, bend the knees a little bit more, and imagine there's a line sinking from the tailbone to the floor and another line rising from the head all the way up to the ceiling. Stretch your fingertips out from their shoulders, and we're going to circle the walls on either side of us. We're going to trace some circles on them, spinning our shoulders in their sockets. 4, 3, 2, and 1. And let's take those circles the other direction. Circle 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pause the arms, keeping that core active. We're going to move from our breastbone, rotating that upper body side to side. Again, that lower half of the body is like a nice stable tree trunk. We're rotating our upper body on that axis that goes from head to tail. Let's face forward again. Squeeze your shoulder blades together and pulse those fingertips and hands toward the back wall, opening up that chest. Pulse 4, 3, 2, and 1. And we bring those arms down by our sides. Give the shoulders a little bouncing shake. Work out any of that lactic acid that might have built up in those shoulders as we did our movements there. And then we're going to stand with a narrower base of support now. Let's move our weight over the front of our ankle joints, and our heels are lined up with our sit bones, so kind of midway through those hip areas. Bring the fingertips to the front of the waistline and the thumbs to the back of the waistline, just above the crests at the very top of the pelvis. Let's press our thumbs and fingers toward each other. We'll take a big breath in here. Exhaling, drop belly to spine and spine to belly. And we're going to picture our fingertips and thumbs moving a little closer together. We're going to feel if we press in, those muscles tense underneath our fingertips. From here, let's shift our weight. We're going to go toward our toes, big toe and pinky press into the floor. And we're going to come back toward our heels, trying to keep those toes on the mat. Shift forward and shift back, and pay attention to what's going on first underneath the fingertips, as those trunk muscles are going to tense a little bit differently depending on where we are in our range of motion. We're also going to feel our shins, our calves, the front of our thighs, the back of our thighs, those toe muscles engage to keep us nice and steady and push us back toward the middle of our base of support, which is right over the front of those ankles. Shifting our weight over the ankles again, we're going to move our weight from one foot to the other. And our aim is to keep a straight line from the crown of the head all the way through to the ankle we're standing on, or the foot that we're standing on. As we continue to move side to side, we're going to feel tension in those side muscles. We're going to primarily feel those sides, those obliques working on the side we're moving our body away from. And we may feel our hips working a little bit as well as we use those muscles to stabilize over that single leg. Let's circle around our base of support, moving the weight forward, to the side, to the back, and then over to the other foot. Imagine there's a little stylus coming out of the crown of the head, and we're tracing a nice big circle on the ceiling and feeling what's going on underneath our fingertips. Those muscles are engaging and re-engaging depending where we are in that range. Pause your circle, and then we're going to breathe out and make that circle go the other direction. We keep it going. And then we circle one more time. We're going to wind up right on the balls of the feet. Press your big toe and your pinky firmly into the floor. And let's come forward far enough that we now have to hover our heels up off the floor just a touch. We feel the soles of the feet engaging. Press your big toes firmly into the floor. And we're going to pop ourselves up and down onto the toes. And then we lower our heels down. Lift and lower. Those heels can come down all the way, or you're welcome to keep them hovered off the mat. Challenge that balance a little more. Up and down for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. We lower our heels. We shift our weight right back over the front of the ankles. And let's give those knees a little shake and the wrists a little shake. Bringing the feet a slight bit further apart. Let's open the hands out to shoulder level again. Elbows are straight and the palms face the floor. We're going to stretch our fingertips, our elbows, and our collarbones as far away from the midsection as we can. We may already be getting a little stretch through the elbows as we do so. Now we point our fingertips down to the floor and we curl those fingertips in toward the body. We should feel some stretch over the tops of the forearms. Spread the fingers, turn the palms to face the walls, out to the sides, and the fingertips come up to the ceiling, feeling the undersides of those forearms lengthen out. Let's wave those hands down and up, moving the arms up overhead as we continue to wave. We're lengthening out through all of those muscles, those connective tissues that our upper body nerves are floating through. Let's wave our hands all the way down by the sides. We'll roll our shoulders up, back, and down again for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Okay, let's take the pinky sides of our hands now right to the fold in our hips, our femur bones. meet our pelvis right there. We're going to keep those pinkies right where they are, soften our knees, and let's fold the body over them. That tailbone comes back, the crown of the head comes toward the screen, and our back is in the same curve position that it is when we're upright. So our middle back and our tailbone are in line with each other. Let's squeeze our glutes, feel the hips engage, and we're going to reach our hands toward the mat. First with the palms facing toward the body, and then we're going to turn the palms to face inward toward each other. Let's move the elbows in by the sides, tuck them in there, squeezing the shoulder blades together, and press the arms straight as we reach those hands back behind the body. Press for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Sweep the arms down toward the mat, and we move into a row. Again, squeezing the blades. This time, straightening and bending our elbows, tucking them in by the sides and reaching toward the floor. One more time, row, reach the mat, and then we're going to slide ourselves up into a nice tall standing position and get ready to make our way down to the floor. If you have a cushion and you want to grab it, take it now, place it right in the center of your mat, and we'll turn to face it. Let's back ourselves up again, just a little bit away from that cushion, just like we backed away from our screen earlier. We want to be about shin's length away from that cushion so that our kneecaps will be right down on top of it in a moment. And then we're going to slide our hands down the thighs, bend the knees, and walk ourselves forward to all fours on that mat with our kneecaps or just below, resting on our cushion. Wrists and shoulders, knees and hips are in line with each other. And if we look at what we're doing in our screen, we'll see the back of the head, the middle back, and that sacrum right below the belt line are all in a line with each other, maybe a little bit of an angled line with each other. Let's keep our elbows nice and steady. We're going to draw the belly to the spine, supporting that lower part of our back there. And then we're going to give our tail a little side to side wag. Fold your body in half, moving the hip on one side toward its same side shoulder, and then wagging over to the other side. With the core active, we're going to feel a little engagement through the front of the body, and then we're going to also get a little bit of stretch through the belt line area on the back side. Coming back to center, the belly comes to the ceiling. Tuck your tail between the legs. We curl to cat, looking toward the thighs. We take the tailbone to the ceiling and the breastbone forward to the wall in front of us for cow. Again, curl through cat and cow. Last time, curl through cat, over to cow, and we come right back to center with that core remaining engaged. Big breath in, belly sets a little closer to the spine on that exhale, and let's press the bottom back to our heels. Notice my back and my head and neck stay in the same line that they are when we're up on all fours. Again, press back, bottom to heels, pull forward with the hands, coming right back up over those wrists again. Rock back, pull forward, and let's turn the tops of the feet to the mat and tap them out beyond the outer border of the mat, rotating those hips inward. Cross an ankle over the other, come back to that rotation with the mats and our feet lined up with each other. Cross, tap out, and cross, tap out. Coming right back to center, parallel shins. We hold here and take our toes together now. Let's bring our knees toward the outer edges of the mat. And again, we press the bottom back to the heels, this time bending the elbows and lowering ourselves down so we can walk those elbows or slide them back to the inner knee joint lines. We're pressing through our forearms, dropping those shoulder blades to the floor for some support for that upper body. And let's rock our weight. We're going to shift to one side and then to the other, lengthening out through the inner thigh, maybe lengthening out a little bit through our glute on the side we're moving away from. And then we come right back to center again. Slide your hands toward the head of the mat. Stretch them all a little bit further forward. Inch those fingertips forward a touch further, and then lower your forehead. We're going to do our best to get our elbows and our ears in line with each other. And then maybe we can drop our forehead toward the floor for some support. If it touches, that's great. If not, it's completely fine. We're going to feel some stretch through the outer borders of our shoulder blades, and that'll intensify as we take a breath in. Exhale, hold. One more time, big breath in. Exhaling, we bend our elbows, shift the body weight over those elbows, and if you do have cushioning under your knees, take it out and place it up at the head of that now. Let's slide our legs out behind us, and we're going to rest on the middle of our upper thighs here, pressing through our hands to send that breastbone slightly up the wall. Give your chin a little nod toward the neck, and as we draw the belly to the spine, we press through the forearms to lift our bodies up a little bit, so we're resting just above our kneecaps now. Let's squeeze our shoulder blades together, allowing the upper body to draw down toward the floor, And then we press those blades down, allowing the upper body to lift. Squeeze those blades, press them apart. Squeeze together, press apart, and one more time, squeeze the blades, press them away from each other. And we're going to turn our body toward the screen, tuck the far arm underneath us, and make our way to our backs. With the heels lined up with our sit bones, we walk our hands out just beyond the borders of the mat. Let's widen our collarbones away from center, just as we did when we were standing, stretching our hands to the sidewalls, and we flip our palms to face the ceiling. We're going to imagine that clock face on our pelvis. 12 o'clock is north of the belly button. 6 o'clock is by the pubic bone. 3 o'clock is the far wall. 9 o'clock is the wall closest to our screen. Let's curl the pelvis toward 12 o'clock, flattening the back, tucking the tail between the legs. We lengthen that tailbone toward the heels, letting that low back lift up. Here's 6 o'clock. Curl the pelvis to 12, lengthen through to 6. One more time, curl to 12, lengthen to 6, and then we bring that pelvis back to center, lifting the hip on the screen side up. We rotate toward 3 o'clock. Breathe it back to center and lift up the far side of the pelvis, rotating toward the screen for 9 o'clock. Breathe into center, breathe out, rotate to 3. Breathe into center, breathe out, rotate to 9. We have one more time on each side. Inhale to center, exhale, rotate to 3. Inhale to center, breathing out, we rotate that pelvis toward the screen for 9 o'clock. Come on back to center and let's slide our arms out to T, stretching the fingertips again away from the center of the body. As we reset belly to spine, we engage those lower abs. We're going to take our fingertips to our lower portion of our rib cage and see if we can drop those ribs to the mat as well. Feel the whole front of the trunk engaging. Nice abdominal work. Turn the head to look side to side toward the screen and toward the far wall. Noticing a little more length, a little more engagement through the chest on the side that we're moving our head away from. Let's look right back up to the ceiling. Float the arms to the ceiling and breathe those shoulder blades. Wrap them around the front of the body toward the ceiling. Lower the blades back down. Breathe them up. Lower them down. Breathe and reach those blades up. Lower them down. Breathe and reach them up and lower them down to the mat as we spring our knees to tabletop. 90 degrees at the hips, 90 degrees at the knees, as if we were going to balance a vase of flowers right in the middle of each shin. Let's flex our feet and rotate our ankles in circles one direction and then the other. We'll pause them to face the wall in front. Hold everything else nice and still. Lower your toes on the screen side toward the mat. Tap them down and breathe them right back up to tabletop. Exhale, switch, tap. Inhale to tabletop. Exhale, switch and tap. Inhale to tabletop, and one more time. Exhale, switch and tap. Inhale to tabletop. Flex the feet again. We lower a heel to the mat and inhale to tabletop. Notice the extra challenge because we have to lower a couple more inches before the foot touches. Flex and tap. Inhale, lift. Heel lowers down. Inhale, lift up. Let's point our toes. Press the hands and thighs toward each other with the elbows tucked in right by the upper thighs. Holding pressure here, we straighten and bend our knees. There's 4. Here's 3, 2, last 1. Breathe back to tabletop. We pull our far knee into the body and lengthen that opposite leg all the way to the mat, tightening up the front of the thigh as we pull our bent knee into the body. Let's cross the body with the bent knee, allowing the opposite hip to wiggle up off the floor as we rotate that lower body toward our screen. We'll come back to the middle. Keeping the core active, we hover our straight leg off the floor. Hold it where it is, circle it on the wall in front for 4, 3, 2, 1. Take it out to the side toward that screen and over to the center, maybe across midline by a couple degrees. Bring it away from the body, draw it toward the opposite wall. Take it away toward the other side, and one more time out to the screen. Toward the other wall, we reach it forward and inhale that knee into the chest. Breathing out, we slide our opposite leg out along the mat, pressing the back of that knee into the floor as we draw our bent knee into the body. Let's take our bent knee, cross it over the far wall, wiggle that hip up as we rotate the lower half. Come on back to center. The hands go right to the front of the shin. Keeping the core active, we float our other straight leg off the floor and we circle it on the wall in front. There's 4, 3. The goal is to about a hip joint with everything else staying still. Pause and breathe in. And exhaling, we take that circle the other way. There's 4. 3, 2, 1. Breathe it away. And then back across toward that screen. Exhale to the far wall. Inhale, cross center. Exhale away. Inhale back to the other starting position. Exhale away. Take it to center. Stretch the toes forward to the wall in front. Switch the sides. Pull and press. Switch and press. Challenge it by taking the arms to the ceiling. Switch and press. Switch and press. Switch and press. Last 4. 3, 2, and 1. Bent knee stays where it is. We draw the other knee in to meet it. Pull your elbows, draw them in, or pull your knees rather, draw them up toward the elbows, and we'll feel that midsection engage. Grabbing onto the shins, we pull them a little closer to the body and allow that low back to open up into the mat. Rock that body side to side for a big breath in, and then we breathe it out. Come on, back to center. We're going to straighten out our screen side leg along the floor again, pressing the back of the knee into the mat, feeling that quad tighten up as we do so. We hold on behind that lifted thigh, kick the thigh into the hands, and then let's stretch our toes up to the ceiling. Then back to tabletop and straighten right back out. Then to tabletop and straighten one more time, bend and straighten. As we keep our knee as straight as we're comfortable doing so, we're going to kick our thigh into our hands and then hover that other leg up off the floor. Inhale to the ceiling, exhale, lengthen that leg forward and down to hover. We're going to repeat that again. Inhale, lift, exhale, lengthen to hover. If you want to challenge your trunk a bit more, the arms come down by the sides. Inhale, lift the leg. We can always stay with that position where we're holding the thigh. One more time, inhale, lift. Exhale the leg down to the mat. We take our lifted leg side to side, moving in a range where we can keep our pelvis still. A little inner thigh stretch as we come away from the body, a little outer thigh as we cross it. Cross midline, and let's sweep our lifted leg through circles, bending the knee if we need a little more slack for those hip muscles. Pause at the top and breathe. Exhaling, we take our circle the other way. Here's 4 and 3. Last 2 and 1. Bend the knee, draw it into the body with a little hug from the arms. And then we bring our other knee in, lengthening out the leg we just stretched out all the way along the mat. Let's hold on behind our newly lifted thigh, kick it into the hands and stretch those toes up. Wiggle into that hamstring length. Hold it up here. If you want to flex and point, you can. We hover our supporting leg up off the mat, keeping the collarbones wide and the shoulders resting toward the floor. Inhale that free foot up to meet the stretching side. Exhale it forward and down the wall to hover. Inhale and lift. Exhale and lower to hover. Hold it here. The arms stay on that stretching side or they come by the body right to the sides of the mat. And we lift and lower that leg again, taking it down to hover. Inhale and lift. Exhale to hover. Hold it here. We take that foot to the mat and bring our lifted leg from side to side, lengthening out through the inner and outer thighs, lengthening out through our hamstring as we take the leg away. And then we cross center and we take it through our circles for a 4. Again, bend the knee if you need a little more slack. There's 3, 2. Breathe in at the top. Exhaling, take it through its circles for 4. Here's 3. Last 2. And 1. Draw that knee into the body, hug it into the chest, relaxing and releasing the muscles at the front of the hip. We're going to draw the other knee in to meet that pulled inside. We'll give the body a little side to side rock and then come back to center to grab those kneecaps and guide those legs right back up to our tabletop position. Float the arms to the ceiling, drop the blades down, and with a breath in, we stretch our toes upward and we circle those legs in opposite directions of each other. Try to keep your navel drawn back toward your spine. Try to keep the sacrum, that wedge-shaped bone, the very bottom of the spine, pressed into the mat. We're going to take our circles the other way. Small circles. Pausing at the top, good job. And then we breathe out to V, stretch the toes to the side walls. Inhale, feet together, exhale, open to V. Inhale, feet together, exhale, open to V. Inhale, feet together, glue those toes together, and we draw some clockwise circles on the ceiling with both feet moving in the same direction. This is our corkscrew. You can make that circle a bit bigger if you'd like, stretching the toes down the wall in front, and we inhale at the top. Breathing out, we take our circles the other way. Again, maybe we start off a little smaller and make that circle a bit bigger as we get comfortable with that movement. Breathe in at the top, exhaling, the toes stay together, our knees come out to the sides, and we draw those heels in toward the body. We're going to take our hands to the middle of our shin and draw gently downward with those elbows toward the floor to lengthen out through our inner thighs and bring the knees out a little farther to the sides. Give a little side to side rock. We'll take a big breath in. Exhaling, we come back to stillness at the center. Draw belly and spine together and flatten that low back gently to the floor. Reach the arms to the ceiling. Take a breath. And breathing out, we're going to press our toes up and forward, straightening the knees, reaching to the top of the wall in front of us. Take it to frog. Press those feet forward to the wall. Breathe it into frog. Exhale, press, and one more time. Inhale to frog. Exhale and press. Knees come to tabletop. We take our feet to the floor. And let's open our arms toward the back wall, breathing them down the back wall until our thumbs come as close to the floor as we can get them. Once they're there, we're going to take stock of where the rest of our body is here. We'll breathe in and out. And as we exhale, let's gently drop belly to spine. Drop your lowest ribs down. So the back side of the body is engaging and drawing down a little closer to the mat. We're going to drop our breastbone as well. Lengthen those fingertips toward the wall behind. Hold it here. And open those arms out to T. Maybe the thumbs stay on the floor. Maybe they're lifted. So whatever's working, we draw the arms down by the body. We exhale them out through T. Inhale them overhead. And breathe them up to the ceiling before arcing those hands down by our sides. Let's rock the knees toward the screen, toward the far wall, and come right back to the center. Big breath in. Repeat, breathing out, the knees come toward the screen, toward the far wall, and we inhale them to face the ceiling. Walk your heels in a little closer to the bottom. We'll breathe in. Exhaling, we drop belly to spine and squeeze those glutes. We're going to lift our hips up and press through the feet, taking those hips up until we feel some length through the front of our thighs. Press the arms into the floor for a little more support, and we imagine little tractor beams drawing our knees to the wall in front of us. Inhale. Exhaling, lengthen down. Take that tailbone all the way toward the heels as we bring our body back down to the mat. Tap down. Squeeze and lift. Tap down. Squeeze and lift. Tap down. Squeeze and lift. Hold them up here. We're going to keep our hips lifted and go up and down on our toes. Here's 4, 3, lift 2, and lift 1. Heels come down. Take a breath. Exhaling, we lengthen that body down to the mat and release the glutes at the bottom. Let's rock our knees toward the screen, toward the far wall, and bring them back to center. And repeat that one more time. Rock toward the screen, toward the far wall, and right back up, knees facing the ceiling. Big breath in. Breathe out, belly to spine. Squeeze and lift those hips up again. Find the length through the front of the thighs. That's as high as you need to go. If it bothers your back, take it down a little lower. That's okay. We're going to hold here. Our feet stay still, and we press one knee at a time out toward each side wall. Try to lengthen out, moving our hip joint to each side. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Knees come forward, breathe it in. Exhale, bridge down, and release those glutes. We're going to rock that pelvis 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock, curling it up and releasing it. We bring the pelvis back to center and rock from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock before regrouping in center. Big breath in, belly to spine on the exhale, squeeze and lift the hips. We're going to press our arms into the mat, and we move into a march, taking one knee at a time into the body. To challenge it further, if you'd like, stretch your toes to the ceiling. And if you want to take it a little farther, keep your thighs level with each other. Straighten your knee out, reaching toward the wall in front of us. 4 more, whichever position you're choosing. Here's 3. Here's 2. And there's 1. Press those feet into the mat. We'll squeeze and lift our hips for a big breath in. Exhale, lengthen the body down. And release the glutes at the bottom. Ankles and knees come together and we rock that lower half of the body from side to side, keeping the shoulders down, blades on the floor, and that breastbone widened and opened up toward the ceiling. Come on back to center, cross one ankle over the other knee. And if you have more slack to give with the lower body, lift the other foot up off the floor. We'll rock toward and away from that crossed over side. And then come back to center. And we'll unwind, moving it to the other side, ankle to knee. Lift up again if there's a little more slack. And we rock that body from side to side. Come on back to center. We unwind and give those knees one more hug into the chest. Let's take our feet to the floor, turn toward our screen. And again, we can grab our cushion and place it in the center of our mat before making our way to all fours with the knees on it. Once we regroup to our all fours position, let's curl through cat and cow, and we'll repeat that one more time. Curl it to cat. Breathe it through the cow and come back to center. Let's turn our toes under, press the balls of the feet into the floor. Again, we press through our hands, unweight the knees if we can. Curl to cat, take it to cow and come back to center. Lower the knees and shift that weight from side to side. Press the floor away with the arms. We can continue as we are, or we can press through the toes, unweight the knees, and shift side to side. 4, 3, 2, and back to center. We take our knees down, curl the tops of the feet to the floor, and move into shoulder taps. We'll take one hand, lift it up, and bring it to the outer edge of the other shoulder. If you want to make this more challenging, move the pinkies of each hand right out to the outer edge of the mat. Notice a little more work through the midsection here. We'll bring our hands right back in line with our shoulders, and now we walk them forward a little bit. They're going to be about a foot in front of where they were before. Keeping the core active or resetting belly to spine as needed, let's open our hips up toward the floor and shift the shoulders over those wrists again. From here again, we press through those blades and those heels of the hands. Maybe we widen our knees a touch and we move to our taps again. Notice a little more challenge into rotation here. We're going to turn our toes under as we continue to tap. That final hand comes down, press through the toes and rise up to plank. We can be up on our toes or we can take those knees back down to the mat. Either way, we shift our weight again, side to side, and come on back to center. Let's keep those hips open, lower the knees to our cushion, and push back till our hips and our knees are lined up before we walk our hands back down underneath the shoulders. All right, we're going to turn the tops of the feet back toward the floor, slide the screen side leg back, and lengthen that leg up toward trunk level. Find your stable point and lift the opposite arm forward. Let's see if we can reach it toward the wall in front. Take a breath and hold, and then we come back to hands and knees, switching sides. Lengthen one leg back, lift it, and bring the opposite arm forward. Switch it up. Lengthen and lift. Switch it up. Lengthen and lift. Take the hand down, take the knee down. Again, we curl through cat and back over to cow. Come on back to center, slide the screen side leg back, and this time we arc it to our side. Press the foot down and lengthen that inner thigh down into the floor. Feel the length all the way from pubic bone down toward that knee. We can hold here and breathe into that length, or we can add a little rock back. Bringing the bottom back toward the heel and then coming right back up. Slide the leg back, draw it into center, big breath, and breathing out, we take our other leg back behind the body. Arc it to the far wall and press that foot into the floor. Again, lengthening through the inner thigh. Again, we hold, or we add our rock back, bottom to heel. Pull it up, and one more time, rock back. And pull it up. Slide the leg back, draw it into center, give your tail a wag. Come on back to the center. We're going to walk our hands back toward those knees. Bring our bodies all the way up to our tall kneeling position. Fingertips and thumbs circle that waistline, and we take a big breath in. Exhaling, belly and spine come toward each other. We feel those muscles engage into our fingertips. And let's breathe the body back. Exhale, leaning back. Inhale, up tall over those knees. Breathe out, lean the body back. Shoulders, hips, and knees are as close to a straight line as we can get. Inhale up over those knees. Twice more. Breathe out, lean it back. Inhale up. Breathe out, lean it back. And inhale up tall over those knees. We're going to bend from our hips, slide down, get those forearms on the mat, hold them there, and take any extra cushioning away from those knees, placing it up at the head of the mat. Slide those legs back. We're going to rest on our upper thighs and reset belly to spine as we press our hands into the floor. Press those shoulder blades forward, and let's kick one foot at a time. Heel to bottom. Lengthen through that quad. Feel your hamstrings engage a little bit, unless your quads are so tight that overwhelms any other sensation. Kick 4, kick 3, last 2, and 1. Straighten the legs out, press through the hands, take a big breath in, and breathing out, we come up nice and tall and turn to face the other wall. We're going to bend up our knees, settle our weight just behind our tailbone. Knees are slightly out to the sides to give us a little bit of room for our trunk. And we're going to stretch our fingertips forward to the wall in front of us. Elbows are straight, palms face in, and the knees are just out beyond our arms. Reset belly to spine and lean that body back. Find your trunk. Hold it here. We're going to open one arm at a time out to each side. Open and close. Follow your head. With your head, follow your hand. Open and close. Let's hinge back up nice and tall. Knees come in a bit. We take our hands to the outer thighs, and let's press our hands and our thighs toward each other as we again lean that body back. Find your trunk. We'll walk the feet in a little closer to the bottom. Open and close those arms. Open and close. Open and close. Last one, open and close. Grab the shins, pull up nice and tall. And we're going to stretch our feet out in front of us to the outer edges of our mat. Lengthen out the knees until we feel some stretch through our thighs. So they may be quite bent. They might be all the way straight. We're all going to be a little bit different. We'll stretch our fingertips out toward our toes. Again, we face the palms in toward each other, and we breathe forward with the body. Lengthen through those thighs. Inhale up tall. One more time, lengthen forward. Inhale up tall. Bring those feet together. The hands come back behind us. We rest into the heel of our hands as we squeeze our blades and send our breastbone up to the ceiling. Walk the feet back toward the bottom and then inch that bottom forward toward the heels until we feel our biceps open up and that chest open up. If this is a good stretch here, we can hold it, or we can press through our heels, lift the hips up, and find our reverse tabletop position. Hold 3, 2, and 1, and we lower that bottom. Shake the wrists out and make our way down to our side. Resting on that bottom arm, we bend up our knees and lift our waistline from the mat. Press the top knee up and down for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Keep those knees bent so we move to hydrants for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Take the knees down. 4-part clamshells. Lift the feet. Top knee up, top knee down, lower the feet, lift the feet, and the knee down, feet down, 2 more, lift the feet, the knee comes down, the feet come down, last one, feet up, knee down, feet come down, and we straighten our legs out and place our top hand on the floor. Flex your feet, lift the top leg to hip height, and we swing it forward, point the toes, draw it back, flex it forward, point it back. 2 more. Flex forward. Point back. Flex forward. Point back and hold. Top arm comes overhead. Pulse the top leg up. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Toes tap down behind the bottom leg. We arc them forward. Tap in front. Tap behind. Tap in front. Last 2. Tap behind. Tap in front. Last 1. Tap behind. Tap in front. We lift that leg back up to hip level, line it up with the body and take the top hand to the mat. Straightening out and lining up the bottom leg with our top leg. We lift that bottom leg up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring that leg down, bend those knees up. Give your hip a pat and reach forward. Let's inhale that arm to the ceiling, look to the fingertips. We open our chest to the ceiling and breathe that arm out toward the far wall. Open book position. Inhale the arm up, exhale it forward, and let's press ourselves up through a sitting position and make our way to our other side. We'll take a moment to regroup here. Rest on the bottom arm and bend those knees up. Lifting the waistline up and taking the top hand to the hip. We press our knee up and down. There's 4. Here's 3. Lift 2. And 1. Hydra lifts for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Knee comes down, 4 part clamps. Feet up, knee down, feet down. Lift and lift. Lower and lower. Last 2. Lift, lift, lower and lower. Last 1. Lift those feet, lift the knee, lower the knee, and lower the feet. We're going to straighten our legs. Top hand comes to the mat and we flex our feet and lift that top leg to hip level. Swing that top leg forward, point and draw the leg back. Swing it forward, good job. Point it back. Flex it forward, point it back, and one more time, flex it forward. Point it back, hold it there, stretch the top arm overhead. Pulse 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Keep that top leg right where it is. Draw the toes down behind the bottom leg. Arc that leg up and draw them down in front of that bottom leg. Take them back and forth. That hand could always be on the floor for a little more support. Back and forth. Toes touch behind. Toes touch in front. We lift that leg right back up in line with the body and take our top hand to the mat if it's not already there. Point the bottom toes, line them up with the top leg. Lift that bottom leg up and down. There's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take that top leg down. Bend the knees and give your hip a pat. Let's reach forward. Bring the arms to the ceiling and look to those fingertips. Big breath in. Exhale, chest opens up to the ceiling and we reach back. Open book with that outstretched arm. Inhale, arm up. Exhale, forward. And let's turn onto our backs. Line those heels up with the rear end. Let's bring our ankles and knees together and open the arms out to T. Stretch them toward the side walls. We'll give the chin a little nod and turn that head. Let's look side to side. And right back up to the ceiling. Rock the knees from side to side. And bring them up to the ceiling. Cross one ankle over the other knee. Lift if there's a little more room to move. Grab onto those legs and give a little side to side rock here. Big breaths in. Big breaths out. Coming back to center, we unwind. Cross the ankle over the other knee. Lift if there's more room. And rock it. Come on back to center, unwind. Give those knees a hug into the body, and we'll guide our feet to the floor. Let's turn to face our screen. Find our way to all fours, grabbing that cushion. Excuse me, if you need it. And once we're up on all fours, we curl through cat. Take it through to cow. And repeat. Curl up to cat. Take it to cow. And come on back to center and give that tail a wag. Coming back to center, we turn our toes under, press the bottom back toward the heels, and walk those hands back to the knees. Shifting over to our feet, we get our weight centered over those ankles and come up nice and tall, taking a moment at the top to get our bearings before meeting in the center of our mats. All right. We can walk to the center of our mat, shake your legs out a bit. And let's go ahead and bring those feet shoulder width apart, heels turn toward each other, toes turn slightly away, pointing toward the front bottom corners of our room. As we settle the weight to the heels, we'll soften up our knees, shrug and release those shoulders. Take them up and down, sending the crown of the head to the ceiling. Standing nice and tall as we do so. Let's roll the shoulders back and down. Nice big circles. 3, 2, and 1. Drop the shoulders and turn that head. We'll look side to side before facing forward. Let's take our feet together. We'll close with a big breath in. Arms come out to the sides, up and overhead. Turn to face your palms, and we look up to the ceiling. Press those palms together with a breath, and breathe right back to center. We did it. We made it through another week, another class. Thank you for being here with me, and I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. I'll see you next time.